on my other monitor so I don't go crazy. Okay. So here we are on the third and maybe final part of this Make a NR2003 track from almost nothing. Last time we did some curbs and we added some elevation and the pit lane. Today we're gonna go into I'm gonna do a little bit of minor cleanups in some places. Mostly what I'm gonna do right now is just go in and make sure everything okay. We don't really need to see the folder behind it. What I'm mostly going to be doing right now is cleaning up some space around the actual track, fixing up a couple of the painted lines and stuff, and also the where the pit entry is, and like define where the pit entry is, and do that right now because we're going to need to do that before and a pit exit over here before we really get into the meat and potatoes, so to speak, of what I really wanted to do, which is in long story short, make the AI work. At least get them to a basic working state. Not going to. I don't think I'm gonna really make like fine tune them to the type to the level that I normally would, but I think we're gonna get kind of close. Or rather, we're going to at least make them so that it's workable, and that if anyone watching this wants to go ahead and fiddle around with them and change that, go right ahead. And also, I think what we're going to do is at least the very basics of cameras. At the very least, we're going to try to put together a spectator camera. I think we'll see how much I have in me today. So. Right now, I'm just, here's our camera view. There's our flag, man. It looks a little sad just standing there without a flag stand, so I may go get one to put him in. Ah, shit. I just realized that that's what was way over here. So, that being said, now the thing I'm going to try to determine is where we want them to merge into, whether it be like, because we're going to want to split this segment in half so that we have the paint kind of join in, so that they merge probably around here, which you could say maybe not the best place, but I mean, if you've seen some of my tracks, this is this is good compared to most of them. I mean, the pit exit at Burlington is kind of dreadful. And when I mean dreadful, I mean potentially hilarious. And Gravis City Zone 7 needs no further explanation, and I will straight up say on the record that that one was on purpose. Burlington's was kind of just a that was a little bit more of a mistake rather than anything else. And I took a shower earlier today, and my hair was kind of getting like a little, I guess I didn't really comb it well enough. But anyway, before I really get going into a whole lot, this is the eve of the first ever F1 Qatar Grand Prix, and I'm gonna go a little off topic here, but a little bit off topic while I'm working here. As you see, I'm just gonna move where these painted lines are supposed to be. So earlier in the week, Guan Yu Zhou is confirmed to the second Alfa Romeo. Anyone who knows me pretty well, or even marginally well, knows that I'm pretty happy about this because I think he deserves a shot. I'm going to advise any of you, for your own sanity, please, by the love of all that is good, green, and holy, do not venture into the comment sections of any YouTube videos talking about it. And I'd even say stay away from most YouTube videos talking about it, because holy shit, they get racist fast. Um, it's honestly really disgusting, and um, it's just kind of it really is kind of it is kind of it is there's no other word for it other than disgusting, honestly, especially since um, you know, you really need, I think F1 really needs a Chinese driver. It would, and to be the first one in the most, with the world's, I think, the second most populous country is, it can only be good, and especially if he can have the trailblazer effect. I think that would be wonderful for the future of for the future Chinese F1 drivers, to give them kind of a, someone to look up to say, hey, this is my idol, and things like that. And like there's a lot, and I noticed also a lot of people, a lot like the crowd that was, that I was seeing, running around complaining about, oh, but like, what about Oscar Piastri? Piastri's got his seat already. He's going to be a reserve driver, and honestly, none of these people. I'm gonna be honest. Unless you're Australian, and even then, I'm gonna maybe doubt this, and probably didn't give a shit like 6 months ago. And the same thing with all the people saying, "What about Nick DeVries?" No, no, no. Just, I wish those people just come and say, just be honest themselves. They don't give a shit about that. They're just trying to say they don't want a Chinese guy on the grid, and only on that basis. They can say, "Well, Piastri deserves it. He's won the title." Honestly, if Piastri flames out, it's not gonna matter. Like in it really won't. He might be a good driver. He very well might be. I'm acknowledging that completely. But is it really gonna really gonna have like the same effect? You can say it's money, but yeah. There's a lot of there's been a lot of Australian representation already. It's not like there's never been an Australian driver before, or there hasn't been in like 40 years or something like that. It's ridiculous. That I went off topic there. I had to, because I'm that's my phone. Because I was honestly a little bit annoyed about that, because even some F1 YouTubers who I just saw some of their content, and I thought that who I think they normally do a pretty good job. I thought even most of those guys kind of dropped the ball a little bit on this one, and kind of fed into some shit that they shouldn't have. Anyways, so we got our pit exit here, kinda. Like, we could probably clean this area up right here. I don't, honestly, I'm gonna just revert back to what I said. What I was just saying, history battle. It doesn't matter, because there's been a lot of Dutch drivers. There's probably, as much as I don't like him, Max Verstappen might be, one of the best drivers there is. And the Dutch fans are gonna have someone to cheer for, basically. They're not gonna be short on representation. Okay, that's not bad, but what I'm going to try to do is, I think I'm going to move that. Oh, I just realized how far off camera this was. I'm going to try to move that and try to merge that in with that a little bit cleaner. Yeah, Piastri's got a seat lined up for him. He's going to be a reserve driver. Probably he'll take Alonso's seat when Alonso decides to hang it up. He's going to be set. I always find it really weird when people say, "Well, you shouldn't judge some drivers by who they are." And sometimes you don't have a say in that. If you saw like just Twitter reactions to when when some Twitter reactions from people of color, fans of color, when Bubba Wallace won at Talladega. You gonna tell those people it doesn't matter? Really? Like, I mean, I don't think I think you've never seen a happier group of people probably in my entire life, and I was, if that doesn't say it, I don't know what will. Or a lot of people for when Danica won it, Twin Ring Motegi, which if anyone's gonna try to say that that win wasn't legit because fuel mileage and okay, quit looking for excuses and get off Reddit. So here's our pit exit. I know that what we could do is we could remove this painted line right here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this white just to kind of, maybe designate it. And I know most sane people would say, well, you'd want to, maybe reverse the white and the yellow line, but that's something you can do if you want to edit this track, because I don't know, I just like the yellow lines. If you look at my personal logo, there's a lot of yellow stuff going on. I just like, kind of that color yellow, and I have for a really long time. I gotta copy forward. I'm gonna have to do the same thing again over here. Oh wait, shit, it'd be from, yeah. Yeah, that shouldn't be that's not right. That's right. One final note. As for Joe himself, I don't think he'll be an F1 5 years from now, but I've been wrong before. I'll say that much. I have been very wrong before, and I'd be very happy to be wrong again. Okay, so pit exit here is a little tricky, as you can see, but I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that painted like that. Yeah, I was talking about that a little while ago. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna put a couple, filler objects back here. More just to add something here. Okay, truck group is this is like the group of haulers. I don't remember how, like, the elevation mapping over here. If you ever think, how do you remember? Like, no, I don't remember shit. I'll be honest. I don't. I know a lot of shit. I just don't remember what I'm in the middle of. Okay, so that's going downhill. So it's almost at 0. So these will be on an incline, and putting some objects like this on a decline is always going to be a little tricky. And I know right now you can't see it, but that's because it's in the shared file. I'd have to close this and reopen it, and for you to see it. So I'm gonna leave that right there for now, though. Flagger, you're going over here. Flagger, pit 0. I think that's the guy for pit in. Yeah, here he is. Look for the yellow box. Yeah. Now I gotta go into the track INC where I had pit in starting. Or where the last pit stall was. Honestly, Kenny, I have no idea. You'd have to find some articles from back then. So you can go look that up and see if there was any. Okay, so 2716 00. Okay. 2716 is gonna be about it's gonna be a ways up. Okay, so that's gonna be right here is where our last pit stall is. It's gonna be right about there. So what we're gonna want to do is back about to here. Split. I was thinking for a second here. Okay, now if you wanted to have like one of those like chicane pit entries that you see on a lot of European tracks, I'm thinking about doing one of those. And even though I normally don't, I think if some people have seen some of the tracks I made, pit entry and pit exit can sometimes be a little bit dicey, to put it mildly. Um, and I'm gonna be honest because the reason most people are on this channel at all is for the TM Master Cup series. The amount of shit that I've had to do to try to fix the AI at Minnesota is kind of unreal. It's like the same problem kind of just repeating itself, and it's really fucking annoying. It's all pit entry and pit lane related issues. It's mostly because at the speed they're going on the racing surface and on the track itself, getting them to kind of woe down for the pits is a much bigger ask than you might originally be thinking. So, I had one running that I thought was going to be okay. No, it's not. It's not. It's not like it. There's a lot of weirdness going on with the with pit entry and also with turn one. So I may do a bit more to it in sandbox, but I don't think so. I think most of the sandbox changes for me right now for that track are gonna be extremely minimal. So we're gonna have like a pit lane chicane type of deal, and this is how you would do a normal chicane also, but you'd be kind of moving it towards the racing line a bit more. Well, first of all, we'd have another segment. I'm gonna put another segment here just so that I can move the concrete. I can move the pit wall back out. So I'm gonna do that right there. So you see, it's gonna do that. Whoops. And there are some decisions that I honestly agonize over way longer than I maybe should, and things like that. So, you know, don't feel bad about them, basically. Gonna make this apron near pits, even though I don't really think actually no. This segment's gonna go away. So, I don't know if I want it. I don't know if I should have done that. No, I don't think I should have. Crap. If possible, could you at IndyCar as a Texas for that track? That track being like flatten it out. You mean? I thought about it, but I do like the kind of premise of a track that size being, having a really high speed track, because it's effectively the replacement for the Brazil race. And I wanted to be another high speed, another really short high speed oval. Because like the bigger high speed ovals just aren't interesting. Because the amount of space like sort of makes the makes some of the code brown factor go away. Nah, shit, hang on. 1 second. Just blowing my nose. Okay. So now, if we're gonna have like one of these like chicane pit entrances, this then part of this wall is obviously going to need to come, you know, back in, and then back out again. So we have to make that and make that kind of sane, which is the other alternative is to have something that cuts that you know, the AI will peel off. Will kind of sort of like Montreal's pit exit, where it's like they come in and then they turn in afterwards. I'm just kind of thinking what would be easier to do. The other alternative is just like a general access road right down here, which is honestly probably the easiest one to do. On the grounds, actually, I think I'm gonna do that on the grounds that coming in this way, you don't have to worry about some LP goofiness, which is led to some issues at Steelback Stadium when I was building that track, and it's issues that track sorta still has, but they're masked decently well. So if you have that track and you notice the AI pit in, the AI pitting in when they come into the pits is a little wonky. Whoops. And that's I'll get to that when we get to the get to LPs, obviously. So I think I'll still have the yeah, because I think this is still gonna go away. So and you know, you could say, well, why do you have so much of the pit? You know, so much of the pit road, you know, ahead of where start finish is. And why don't you move it down, move it further down, move it further back? I could, but I could have done that, but I don't feel like it. I am agonizing over micro details here when I don't need to. So I'm just, that's like an issue I know I have, and that's why some of my tracks, Xanarkand, looking at you, take forever. Okay, so this is obviously, yeah, that is obviously now apron near pits. Actually, this wall we could leave right here and then add another wall in here, but I don't. But we're not going to do that because that's unnecessary. Even if it might be the quote realistic choice, I don't care. And honestly, realistically, there probably would be just like an entry peeling off the last corner of the chicane with more stuff behind the start finish line. But again, that is a choice I'm not making. And if you wanted to move that where start finishes, you can, but I don't advise having start finish in a braking zone. It's just a bad idea. Although a very funny one, I might add. Oh, wait. Now I remember what I was going to do. I'm all over the place today, so apologies for that. 17.6, 10.9. Oh, painted line to painted line is... Yeah, painted line to painted line is 7, okay. Or, yeah, painted line to the wall. I like to use a lot of round numbers also with some of my like distances from center, like numbers divisible by 5 or 10, or 50 or 100, because it makes some things a little easier to do. It's just kind of me being anal, I guess. 23.5, so that would be Yeah, 16.5, I think. That doesn't look right. Yeah, but I think we'll just leave it at that. Now there is someone, and I'm gonna someone and you know who you are because I think you're in here. Asked me a while ago because I have an unreleased Winnipeg track. What am I gonna do about that or with that? I'll be perfectly honest. I have no idea. Um, it's mostly because that track, while it works as it is right now, is not that interesting of a track. Gonna be honest, it is just not. It's not that great. And it'll be a bit wider here. Who cares? And while you could say have the AI peel off here. What I'm trying to avoid is giving the AI an opportunity to sort of peel off here, start accelerating, and then impale the end of the pit wall right here. That is a very not good idea. I think I could say mildly. So I'm trying to take away the an opportunity for the AI to just remove themselves by means of stupidity, because they will do that, especially especially under acceleration. So I'm gonna move this wall back here. And yeah, that is a long run to the start of the pit. That is a long run to the start of the pit lane, and this does look weird. I am acknowledging this, but I think for the sake of this is probably going to be fine. I'll have to save and reopen, I think, for that. The more I look at it now, the more I'm starting to think pit lane should start maybe down here and run all the way up. That's the curse of doing this. The more I'm looking at, the more it probably should be like that. But at the same time, thinking, come on, let's go, get on with it, Sparky. So I'm gonna concede that's a mistake. That if there's a track fixes thing, that'll be one of the first. That's an early thing to That could be something that if any of y'all are gonna pick this up and maybe do what I didn't or anything of that sort. That's a good thing to maybe consider trying is moving the pit lane back. That would be 75. I have a feeling this is going to lead to some Minnesota problems all over again, especially especially because I think I'm going to have the pit. Nope, I don't want that. Especially because what I'm thinking now is that should be fine. I just would like the AI turning, like, basically punterinoing each other, which is, bad. But if we're just trying to get something that works, then we may have to kind of ignore this potentially flawed concept. Also, the Blackhawks game, I think, comes on in about 15 minutes or so. So this may not be, I'm not sure if I'll keep going or how long I'll keep going, but we will see. Just checking the texture coordinates right now. And we're making this. Oh wait, shit. So if you have two F sections that meet at one point, you can't have anything. But they don't meet on the other end. You can't have anything between them. I forgot about that. Because what I was going to try to do is just have these extend out a bit, but... Or do I split that again? Yeah. Whoa. The sandbox sometimes does stupid shit. Do I know why I did it? No, I'm not even going to bother to ask, because I was easily fixed. Oops. And this is the reason I'm doing this is just to make things look nice. There really isn't a huge reason. I could have probably made something a little bit more functional, a little bit quicker, but which would have just been, you know, remove the wall, put a big asphalt thing there so they could peel off, but you gotta make things a little bit more complicated than maybe they need to be. And this isn't a perfect solution either, but bear with me a bit. Oh, hey, Blue Hedgehog, how you doing? I didn't know she'd come in. Sorry, I was a little focused on what I was doing, and I don't have like chat notifications and things like that, because that's for people that like stream professionally and stuff, or just like, you know, people that are way more organized than I am about some of the stuff. Because you can tell I haven't really planned things out very much either. Okay, so this is janky as hell, and this is bad. This is bad. Like this honestly right here, what I'm doing here, probably not the best idea, but I'm doing it right now just because I just wanted something simple that works, just to kind of get things rolling here. Now what am I doing right here? I'm just adding something I mentioned. I don't remember at what point, but I mentioned I wanted to put in a sand pit over here, so I'm gonna do that right. I'm gonna do that right now and just kind of get that out of the way. Sand apron. Yeah, like I copy like stuff like directly from some of my other like things a lot, as you by this point probably have noticed. Even though like these two segments weren't joined together, some if you do like back, Sandbox will sometimes at least try to guess where you're going. And if I don't know like on how it guesses, but I just know that it does. I don't know exactly. It's like I don't know, like ID number, like the ID of the like an internal ID for the section number or whatever. All right. Oh right, that one can't be Euclidean because there's a next section under it. No reason I'm not putting these directly, like, we may have some. Okay, fix that. Okay, so, whoops. Here's what we have right here. And here's probably one of the world's shittiest pit entries ever, but again, for demonstration purposes, should be okay. And there's gonna be that one stupid painted line that's gonna just not want to cooperate with me, so. Maybe now I'm gonna save it, close out, and then reopen it. Oh, no, no, no. And this maybe be, I don't know, our commitment stripe, what have you. Message retracted. Okay. Kenny Myatt cancels himself. It's okay, I love you. Okay. Now, before I forget about these guys, gonna move them up here. Sure, that's good enough. That's all right. Okay, so this guy, we're gonna move him. He's our pit. This is our like pit entry is like open guy. We're gonna move him right over about to here, and then I don't remember how, because I think that model is centered, but not on the but on the. I'll have to. Yeah, model centered, because when I mean centered, like its 0 point is on is like there's some stuff below the center point of it, which I don't do normally. It's the guy that waves the red flag or whatever when the pit lane isn't open. So I'm gonna leave him right there. If you don't put the flagger and that flagger object for the pit entry, if you don't have it down, then I think the game has problems. Like it won't report black flags when you pit improperly or some bullshit like that. I don't entirely remember what it was. Now, of course, because I have this now labeled as a pit stall, and his apron near pits. That does mean that pit speed limit is only going to start right here, so they're going to be, full bore entering here. Which again, this could be bad and could lead to a lot of problems that you can fix later on your own. I will not be doing that. because this is just to demonstrate how this works. And what was that other one? 025, okay. Uh, 97, I guess. All right, there's where your pit speed. That's where your pit speed limit starts. That's why I put that there. That's why I went through that effort. Now where's our? Okay, here's our trucks. These guys. Oh yeah, and we had a fly. Oh yeah, from last time that car, ambulance car is actually floating in the air. And I'll whoops to move that probably. But those see, we're scrolling through it in our camera view here, and you notice we're there clipping into the ground a little bit. Let's fix that. I'm only putting these here just for, we have something else on the track other than, like the basic necessities. Or what I mean like really basic necessities. I'm probably not even going to put caution lights on them on here just to save time. But if we did want to put caution lights on, you don't need to have caution lights on, but you can. It's like C light, I think, is what the caution lights are. So you see what I'm doing is I'm adjusting roll, pitch, and yaw just so that the bottom of the trucks matches up with the ground, because the ground is not level, and especially like large objects like this, you can have some interesting problems, which is why it's probably better to have haulers like this on an incline placed individually. And this dork. It is possible for all of the pit lane flaggers to use different textures, but you're basically going to have to go into a hex editor for that. If you want to see what that looks like in practice, the Moncton track I put out actually uses that. So, are you going to notice it? No, not really. They just have different faces. That's really the only thing special about what I did on that track. I was gonna put a sand pit out here, or was debating whether or not to put a sand pit out here, and now the last time I believe, so I'm gonna do that now also. Yeah, this is being dumb, but whatever. I'm not gonna. There's some stuff that I'm just not going to mess around with, just to save a little bit of time. Just so that at the very least, y'all get the point across. Y'all get the point of why I'm doing some things here. Okay, I think that might be enough right now where we can justify doing LPs. Both my one of my favorite and also one of my least favorite things to do. As for why it's my favorite, it's because it's relatively, it's not that time consuming. On the other hand, getting them absolutely perfect can be very time consuming. So, just gonna open this in 3D SimEd to make sure that I don't have any objects or anything that are missing that I need to drag into this folder. And in case, okay, I think we're all right. And I think that ambulance car is gonna be, yeah, he ain't gonna be floating in the air. Good. Well, if he is at this point, you know, that's on him. Maybe he should have. Of course, what I'm doing right here is going into data reports to look for those too. Okay. Just to check to see if we have any missing textures we need to carry over. Of course, there is a more reasonable way to do this that I'll probably show off in a little bit. And okay, so for doing LPs, what is an LP? An LP is what the AI use in order to actually work. I think it stands for line predictor or something like that. Actually, give me 1 second. I need to not only switch which thing I'm using, there we go, but also I gotta do something on my other monitor really quick. Open, move, new tab. Okay. So now what we got it. So now what we're gonna be doing is just making sure now y'all can see this okay. All right. So here we are. I'm in, Pinty's mod, which is it's essentially it's the subfolder. It's another just Pinty's mod. I got my Mastercard mod folders, which are mostly there. I'm gonna go into the Camaro Z28s, and I'm probably gonna stick with them for a while because this is that's my primary testing car set. My primary testing car set is an IROC Camaro set. So okay. As for what wheel I'm using a Driving Force GT that I've somehow taken really good care of. The only problem I've had with it is the power adapter, and even then, I just had to buy a replacement one, and it was like a really generic kind that was like $10, I think, or it was like 10 or 20 bucks. It wasn't that expensive, so I didn't want to do it, but at the same time, not that bad. Okay, here we are on track, and I noticed how close we are to the actual pit wall. So before I do anything, which would include, going to fix that. There's one thing that I usually do kind of as a bad habit. Okay, I just wanted to check that. Normally, I have steering assistance at 100 right now. I'll sometimes have it at 1 when I'm just starting. This is mostly just the me thing because with the DFGT, NR will respond to its force feedback a lot more if it's just 1% as opposed to anything more than that. Okay, so why are we here in testing session? Don't you need some separate program, whatever, to do the AI lines? No, you can do all that right from testing session with one of the wonkiest. In order to turn this thing on, we use this built-in thing called RefLap, and RefLap has one of the wonkiest key combinations to start it up. Control, Alt, Shift, tilde key. At the top left corner of the screen, that says RefLap info stashing turned off. Smooth, 3.0 seconds. Line, -1. None, 0. And then like a timer. I don't read any of that, for the record. Like, you can look at that, and 14 put up a much better guide on like what all that really means and stuff. For our purposes, though, I'm not that interested in them. I just want to. I'm not like hugely interested in them because we just want to get everything to work, right? So there's a couple things we need to know. Control 0. Now we see this. These green triangles on the track are the race.lp. You'll notice it's going right down the middle. That's because we have no lines yet. No LPs have been set, and which means any of the other ones that I can set, any of the other ones I could bring up, will all do the same thing pretty much. So I'm going to turn Control 0 to turn that off and do Control tilde. We have our temp line, which is the orange stuff right there. This is our, the temporary line. In order to actually start recording anything, Alt-R. Now, these yellow triangles, of course, are what we're currently drawing. So there's a bunch of LPs that NR needs. The most critical one is something called race.lp. Well, race.lp and raceline, but raceline I'll get to in a little bit. So race.lp is what the AI use as like their point of references. Their points of reference, like where they're supposed to go, how much throttle, how much brake they're putting on. If you're wondering why I'm going in here, it's to make sure I have the setup loaded in properly, and that I like what I see. Do I? Honestly, not really. I'm just gonna drop these down. Not really for any other reason other than I feel like it. Lincoln and starting in net for Chicago. Okay. That might become the track's fast setup, so but we'll see about that. Okay, so we're gonna drive out onto the track and we're gonna do a race LPs. The way you do this is that the way you draw the race LPs, you just drive the racing line around the track, and when you have the you have to line up the first set of triangles you have to like join the triangles together basically, or the yellow ones. You'll see what I mean. They do a complete lap basically, and then hit the question mark key, and then when you do that, that'll save it to your to the temp line, which is the orange. That'll make it orange, and then we'll try to save it. Now, for doing the race line, how much throttle and brake you use actually does matter because the AI will use that as a point of reference. Race line, it also matters, but but that race line is like for humans, especially for people who use steering assists. When you turn like the preferred line on, that's what race line is. And RefLap does know how much grip is in the track, or the AI know how much grip is in the track when you draw the LPs, and I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to do like anything too wild, I don't think, but I'll try to make it so that it's at least semi decent. Now most people do will do like AI with like a regular driving like a normal racing line, and hitting the throttle and brake normally. However, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can hold it at half throttle instead of full throttle, and you might get better racing out of it. I've had pretty good luck with that, and I've seen some versions of some other NR tracks do it. Obviously none of the default ones do, but I missed that. Yeah. Will Hoyt says, I've always done some crazy shit with the fast setup to make AI a little more interesting. Yeah, I have too. And as you can see, I was reading that when I jumped over the curb. Hang on a second. What do fuck? Okay. Okay. I'll have to check for something after. Yeah, like so. Okay, so another thing about the fast setup, you only need a fast.cup setup in the track folder for it to work. But the fast setup is what the AI all use. So if you have the fast setup be some pretty wacky shit, then the AI are gonna use said wacky shit. And you know, that can affect things like how quickly they burn off tires, things like that. And I probably didn't need to accelerate quite like that over there, and I'm definitely going around another time because that was not pretty, neither was that. This is a very messy lap. And I probably could do something with the gearing here too. Also, one thing, if you change the track length for any reason, even if it is the smallest fraction of a centimeter, if all your LPs will break and you'll need to delete them and redo them. You can move the start finish line and set a new segment to be the head segment. Whoops, I did not realize what gear I was in. You can back up and redrive this, but it's not necessarily advisable. But anyways, what I was saying is, you can move the start finish line while when doing LPs, but everything is gonna be a bit wacky, and the line will go all over the place. It'll basically just try to find out where it was on the when you drove them originally. So it's not really a good idea. If anyone's wondered why the AI for any version of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for NR2003 is a bit wacky, it's because that's what I think happened, because when I went to check the LPs for those, they were going through some of the walls in places, and this is the case with every version of Montreal that's been made for this game, including the FSE one. So I just wanted to put that out there. Oh yeah, I missed that corner by a lot. Okay, I'm getting annoyed, so I'm gonna just back this up a little bit. Now, this is normally not a good idea to do with the race LP. Straight up, this is normally a very bad idea. Do not do this, even though I am right now. If it's, unless, like, I'm only doing this because I'm impatient and just kind of bad. Because what the AI really like is smooth driving, and that's not something smooth driving is not something that I've been known for, let's say. Yeah, how about I do anyway? Is this actually the best line to go through here? No. And, it probably isn't. In fact, I think here you'd probably swing it wide and then cut it in to get a better runoff, yeah. Probably, yeah. If this line seems a little conservative, then, you know, sorry. You can redrive it if you want. Like, this is the, like, driving LPs is not... I mean, it's not overly difficult to actually do one. To do it right, though, it kind of is, I guess. I don't know, maybe. Okay, so what I did there is I hit the question mark key, and now as you see, it's become what I was just the lap that I'd done previously is now the orange line. So I'm gonna hit Control question mark, and you'll notice saving working reflap 0.lp. I drove past pit entry. That's actually not what I wanted to do at the moment. That is actually the opposite of what I wanted to do. Saving working reflap 0.lp. That's the file name that's going to appear in the track folder. So those do count upwards from 0, and they only reset, I think, like every time you exit the game or something like that. Or you have to, yeah, every time you exit the game. So now, why am I backing up right now? Because I'm doing, I'm going to try to get away with doing the pit 0 LP this way. Pit 0 is pit lane 0. If there's 2 pit lanes for a track, like it's like most short tracks where the pit lane is like on the outside of the track will effectively have 2 pit lanes, one with like the pace car on the inside, but also like if you have like a track with like a pit lane on the left side and a pit lane on the right side, yeah, pit 1 would be the second one. Am I going to do that? No, I don't think I've ever done that. Okay, so what are we doing here? We're just tootling down pit road. This pit lane's narrow as hell. I know that that's like a thing that I do a lot. Is I tend to make pit road on a lot of tracks I put out kind of narrow and a little hazardous as a result. Now you may say, well, you know, that's why you're having problems with Minnesota. Except that track's an edit. I didn't adjust the I didn't really change the proportions of the pit lane. All that's just because of okay. So you may notice why I panicked there and I'm backing up. Something didn't look right with how far to the right that was creeping on how far to the right that was creeping there. Sort of like our politics. I mean us as a country. Now, here we go. We turn in here. And then back out and we rejoin the track right here. I'm going to just keep this going like that and make it slightly different. Not really for any reason. And then, so we're saving working reflap1.lp. I'm going to exit out. I'm going to go back to, no, I'm going to go back to that. Okay, so here's our folder here. I'm going to rename that to race and pit 0.lp. I'm going to copy and paste this and make this the race line. Not really for any other reason other than I don't feel like redrawing it a second. Other than I don't feel like redrawing it. And if you don't have a race line LP, the groove on the track is going to look messed up. So now I exited and came back on the track, and we're going to start ref lap again. 0 race LP. You'll notice, hey, look, it's going where we drew it. Ain't that wonderful? And pit 0, I think, is 3? Yeah. Pit 0 is 3. Hey, look. There it is. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that on. That's going right down the center line. And I turn this on. I'm going to draw a line that's going to be sort of the outer boundary racing line. This is going to be min race. There's min race, min panic, min pit, and because this is not the race LP or race line, it doesn't matter how fast I go. I could do these at 20 miles an hour if I want to, the whole way around the track. But min race is the essentially the rightmost boundary for the where the AI will try to run on the like normal racing groove. Max race is obviously on the leftmost, so that's max race is your inside, min is your outside. Think of it that way, and you're fine. And then there's the panic lines, which there are multiple different approaches to, but I tend to like to use the panic lines as overtake lines. Not a lot of tracks do that, but I do prefer doing it that way. It does mean that some tracks, it can mean that some tracks are a little wacky, but I do like it that way. There's a couple other tracks for NR that do it that way. Road America, the Road America HR that came out a long time ago does it that way as well. And that's going to be a little iffy. So there's, if you want to know where your caution is going to come from, probably right there. But your Road America HR does that, among others. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to save that, and Ref Lap 2 is going to be our min race. Now what I'm going to do now is go make sure I have something to the left of the race line, and this is going to be our max race line. And because this track is not very long, this will not take very long, ideally. And that might not have been the best way to exit that corner. Kind of, like, stall out almost. And, so the reason why I'm doing it and doing these lines in this order is because, once I do max race, it'll make it real easy to transition to the pit lines, because I'm already going to be on that side of the track anyway. That's cutting it close. Okay, so... Oh wow, I'm bad. Okay, Okay, so now we're all the way around. Yes, I know I have a lot of shit open. Now these won't appear immediately, obviously. I'd have to like close the track and then reopen it. Or exit testing session and then rejoin it, but I did that. Now we're gonna do max pit, min pit, and these are for the same reasons that This is really tight squeeze. Bit speed limit probably should have began like immediately at the wall. And again, if this is a track that anyone is interested in editing, you can make that executive decision, and I'll go along with it 100%. Because at that point, it will not be just my track anymore. It'll be yours. Whoa. Smooth driving is better than fast driving for AI lines. I, however, am just a bit of a crazy person. So, okay, 4. That is going to be our min pit, our max pit. Now we're gonna do min pit, which is supposed to be on the right side of the red line, but honestly, we're not going to have AI committing on the pit line anyway, so it doesn't really matter for where we are on the track. Not really, unless we have the pace car, you know, merge to or whatever. And I think in other Papyrus games there was a pace car LP, like it had its own. Do I care about it? No, not particularly. I am not going to be doing one. You can almost argue that pit 0 should be the min pit with how late it turned off. And also when we go to actually test the AI, the one thing that the one thing to know, I think that'll be worth keeping in mind is that one thing that'll be worth keeping in mind is that the Pappy AI file that I have, the AI that in other words, the AI that I have in my game, the AI configuration file, is wildly different from the stock one, the one that came with the game. I've changed a lot of shit, and it breaks in some very funny ways. But it also makes, at least I think it makes a lot of the racing better. But so if some things fail on my machine, it might not on yours, and the Oilers have scored, and I'm not surprised. Oh yeah, it's Connor McDavid. What are you gonna do other than curl into a ball and cry? Okay, so now the line I'm gonna do is just make this min pit 0. Okay. Gonna exit the track. I mean, notice now that the that groove on the track that used to be really thin that used to be like a really thin like black band is not really there anymore. And you see, I'm hitting Control 1 to bring up min race, Control 2 to bring up max race, 3 min to bring up pit 0, 4, 5, and then there's of course 6, 7, 8 are going to be all blue lines. Or 6, 7, 8 aren't really going to be there, so it doesn't matter. Then Control 9 would be the panic lines, which is pink. So right now those are just going to follow the race line because, well, I haven't set panic lines yet. And as for what are the panic lines supposed to be, well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but as I already explained, I like to use them for the overtake lines. You do not necessarily have to do that. However, I will be very annoyed if on a road course you don't do that. Because I don't see a point to have an AI panic line on a road course be off the track. I don't think there's any reason for that to be the case. Okay, so Edmonton's about to score again. In other words, curl up and cry time. Backing it up just so that I can make this cut in again. And yeah, that's about what I expected happened. Okay, now you may notice I'm having the panic line merge over into the pit lines. Yeah, could that pose problems? Yes. Do I care? Not particularly. Again, that is and that's also not necessarily the point of this of that line anyway. That's gonna be our max panic line. Now I have to do, of course, min panic. And then there's another line, which is the limp line. And that one, that you can have that just be a copy of max panic. And this track could be max panic because it's it's counterclockwise. On a clockwise track, of course, you could argue that you could just have it be a copy of when I mean clockwise, I mean depending on what side of if the pit lane's on the right, then you could have it be a copy of a min panic, or if it's on the left side max panic, you could get away with that with the way that I'm doing it. But you know, that is both those are possibilities. Oh crap! I probably could have held that down there a bit longer, but whatever. Oh, crap. Yeah, panic line should be to the right of the race line, of the min race line a little bit, but obviously, you know, that can have some unintended consequences sometimes, especially if, you know, min race is too far over. There's a couple of tracks that just have like the panic lines just be copies of the min race max race, and most of the old race car central tracks, Carbondale, Motegi, and the like, a lot of those do that by default. I've changed a lot of those with Carbondales in particular, for obvious reasons. It's a track that I'm very fond of, but you know, so be that. So be it. Okay, another limp line. I'm gonna turn some of these off. I'm not gonna lie, they do get a little annoying. See, control say, oh, I think that's just showing up on, that just showed up on where the race line was or something like that. Either way, there's no pit 1, so I don't care. Of course, limp line doesn't really need to go. This is when limp line is used pretty much when the AI is broken down and coming back to the pits. I don't really, I don't think it really matters if you spin out like this or not, because as long as the yellow triangles are going the right way, the AI will follow it. But just in case, I am going to just try it back over that. And I'd imagine on a more finished version of this track, that corner in particular would have like a curve or something over there. Or anything alike. In fact, I think I remember saying a while back that I wanted to put some elevation over there, but I clearly decided not to. I think just for brevity's sake tonight. I know it might be, you know, it could technically be considered, you know, inappropriate or whatever for me to record anything or whatever today. But the reason, I wanted to mention also today, day I'm recording this is November 20th, which is Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's for a number of transgender people who are who have died each year, including those who are named and who, you know, are not. I thought I'd bring that up now because I forgot to at the top of the stream, but you know, just something also to keep in mind. As more just kind of in general, not just in reference to making tracks or whatever. Okay, limp line doesn't need to be perfect because any car that's using the limp line is more than likely going to be out of the race anyway. And I'm going to try and keep this back on track. Get over there. There we go. Okay, done. Limp. No, I don't care, Windows. I can bite my ass. Okay, so you see now this is, we have most of the sort by type. We have think we have most of the LP. I think we have them all. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna close out of this. I'm not gonna close NR yet, just because I don't think I necessarily need to, especially since I don't have a problem like having it open anyway on this machine. So there's a couple things I wanted to just look at right here, which is this is our track, and I wanted to make sure. Sometimes I get lost if I have multiple open at once. What I want to look at is pace merge from pit line. So that's when so what that is that's when the pace car is going to you know, not use the pit line and merge into the race line. So because of where that rejoins, we could probably just put that at 580, and this is fine. Pace merge to pit line. Now, if you want to do standing starts, this line's going to be different. I'm not going to get into how those work here. There's a guide that I have that about those, but again, I'm not going to get into what those are right now, or like how to get those to work right now. So I'm just going to get it to where if you're just going to have the pace car merge to the pit line on any normal occasion, which is probably going to be about right about here. Yeah, probably like right in here somewhere. So 1815. And these don't necessarily need to be exact, but you know, this can be helpful. Pace speed limit. This is just how fast pace car goes. This is a 1.5. It's like an under 2 mile road course. I'm just gonna say 60. Pit speed limit. Now I normally have sometimes I'll have decimal numbers here because it'll mean your spotter will still report this 50 miles an hour, I think. But for simplicity's sake, we can just put 50, or probably 45 might be better just because how narrow it is. In which case I'm gonna make this 50. Pit lane start. Okay, so whoa. Okay, so that's essentially going to be, I think we have that, or no, extended surface types, what I'm looking for. Yep, we have that to be right here, ski. So 2677.80. See the first white number at the bottom. First set of white numbers on the left side. I know right now this is gonna be, that's a little hard to read. I'm sorry, I probably could have closed the game out to make things easier, or I could just do this. Back on small view again. Good. Or large view, what have you. I blew it up. So pit lane start 2677. 2677. I already forgot. I'm 0.80. Slow pit lane delat entry offset. You don't really like. This is if there's like like if they're gonna pull over to the side or something. I think I normally don't play around with this too much. A pit lane end. Now I'll get to lane merge in just a second. 368.07. Okay, so this is like what, how far away from the start, like the start finish line the AI have to be on the apron before they can say, where like the spotter can say, oh, you merged in the pit lane too soon, blah blah blah. Like basically that's your merge point, is what this guy is, right? It's when you want the AI to merge onto the track, or when you want humans to, because of course you merge on the track before that point, you get a black flag. I'm gonna say 466. Because that's gonna be like right here, basically. And if we look, bring back our regular textures, they see that's where the white line shows up. So merge at the white line. See? 2175. I'm gonna probably move that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that right now, actually. I could just have used Notepad Plus for this, but I'm, for some inexplicable reason, not doing that. Stall qualifying exit. So stall qualifying exit. This is just where your car is when in qualifying. When you go to qualify. So I'm gonna put that at 366 and 1440, which means it'll be about the center of the pit lane. And I didn't put a stripe at the end for when the I didn't put like a... Oh, wait. Actually, I probably could have put that. Knew I was missing something. Always bites you. 366 and then 14, let's say. And basically what that is that's when you you go to qualifying. That's, you know, where you're sitting. Now, where the stall for the pace car. Pace car stall doesn't necessarily have to be in the pit lane. It can be there. It doesn't need to. Regular stalls. Oh, wait. Now I remember why this is back there now. Because that's where we had... Yeah, now I remember. Of course, I'm a genius. See, that's the thing also. Sometimes I even forget why I do. So there's some things I forget why I do them. And then I had this, I think, set as pit lane still, because when I was last doing this, I think I was tired as hell. So yeah, pace car stall does not have to be in the pit lane, but in this case it helps. I'm gonna put it at I'm just gonna put another one of these up here. So yeah, pace car stall 320 at 414 will be right in the center of the pit lane, so now lane has wall. This can do some wacky shit sometimes. I'm gonna set this to 0. The reason why I'm doing that is if you have it set to 0, the AI won't run single file down the pit lane. If it's 1, they'll try to run single file or make a good effort to. But again, the narrowness of this pit lane is gonna do some kind of is gonna probably cause us a lot of headaches. So now you know how to not do some things. Right now what I'm just doing is updating the PTF, which I can do while I'm in game. As long as I'm not on track, doesn't matter. Just trying to make sure if there's anything else that I need to set. Oh, when the AI peel off for the look for the pit lane. That is usually merge from pit line. Merge from pit line, same as what it is with the pace carts when the AI, merge to it, which means that can be the same. 580. Merge 2 can... Actually, that line's fine. 1820 is fine, and I think I can put 100 up. I could probably put up 100 for that. This is the merge window. Merge to pit line length basically is how long the window the AI have to get to the pit line. As you can see, we got a pretty long ways. So, be it from where it isn't where it ends. I'm gonna put 100. I'm gonna put 200 here, even though most of the time this shouldn't be that high of a number. If you're making a short track, for example, this should probably honestly be like 10. But since we have such a wide area to work with, I'm gonna put it at 200 for now. It'll probably look like a bad idea, like afterwards, obviously. because that's how these things work. You try something and then you realize it's a dumb idea and you need to change it. Okay, grid standing start. This is not correct, but it's close, I think. Yeah, okay, so this is not going to be accurate right now. This is your... So starting grid 0 is your full race, is your full pace lap starting grid, right? And starting grid 1 is your, half pace lap. I just want to see where these are. 15.86 is going to be... Oh, they're going to be jamming up in here. So I'm going to move these. I am definitely moving these. First car should be 21, let's say. Oops, that should be 20. Right now I'm just changing all these pit stalls to comply because we are about to do something fun. And that is get this thing to run. Whoops. And where is and for the pace car should be at 2200. The gap between the pace car and the pole sitter is about will be reflected in about what the gap will be between the pace car and the pole sitter, or pace car and the lead car when under yellow. So I'm gonna put that at 2230. Like, they will try to maintain a gap like that. Name sections. Okay, so this right here, this is for the spotters. Most people like to have everything kind of, have like, this is for, turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. For road courses, I like to have that be sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, and I just take the track length and divide it by 3 to get that. Or, get close enough, which is what I'm going to do right here. A 2814. Oh, what's 92 divided by 46? That's gonna be 23 because I said so. Whoops. So yeah, so when you see when you have a spotter say turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, it just means the first sector. That's just something I like to do for funsies. However, you can very easily just actually put that in like these T sections, like T1, 2, 3. These go all the way up to, I think, to 12, at least as far as the spotter will report. There's, pit straight and a bunch of other things like that. I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. Like long pond straight is one, and a few other things. North shoot, south shoot for, IMS. But, things like that. Now, I'm not going to give a complete primer here in this video of how the AI works. But I'm going to just leave some of these values in here. Not quite as they are, but almost as they are. And the reason I'm doing that is because that's just going to take too much time. But either way, what you're gonna want mostly is just for our case here is just make sure that everything works. Weather, cloud probability. If it's 1, it's gonna be cloudy all the time. If it's 1, it'll be like I don't know if it's gonna be cloudy all the time or cloudy never. I don't remember. I sometimes I forget. Start a decision. Okay, that's another important one. This is our restart box. Now, normally on a lot of my tracks, I have the start box noted but denoted with these green, like lime green cones, and I forgot to import them in here. Now you can mark your restart box however the hell you want. Some people do it with some like flashy ass, you know, shitty car insurance brand or whatever, and say, man, restart here. Am I gonna do that here? No, I'm not gonna do that because no one's fucking paying me. If you want your damn shitty car insurance or whatever on this NR track, throw me money. That's sort of how I look at it. So I'm just gonna set the restart box to be. So basically, in the restart box, obviously, when the you know, when the leader's there, green, you know, the leader gets their green flag. I'm gonna put it, you know, right from 2676, and I like longer restart boxes if that's available. So I'm gonna put that 2800. You of course can change this if you want to. Okay, so you see this. All right, I said I wasn't gonna do a track primer here. I kind of lied. You see that value right there? That's a negative number for tire wear loss. That means if they go faster, or they go faster when there's tire wear, they get more grip. I'm gonna turn that off because I put that whatever track it was a specific thing for the track. I think the track that this Cynon came from. How much do I donate to get the Nath restart zone? Lots. So you have starting grid was 2 and starting grid 1. Or starting grid 0 and starting grid 1. I can read. So this is for what side pole position is going to be on. It's 1, it's on the left, 2 on the right, and I think on grid 1 we had that set to be, yeah, I think that's going to be on the left. That's going to be on the left side of the track. So yeah, he's going to be in the left. And on the other one, it'll be on the right, I think. What does this say? Yeah, that'll be on the left also because I don't feel like moving it back. And because first turn's a left-hander, so we're going to do it that way. Even though normally it's the other way around. Normally it would be on the right side, but I don't feel like changing that graphic. That grid marker. Default event laps. I try to make this to be about 2 hours. I try like two and a half hours, something like that. That should not be 73. That should be 47. I think I know where this came from. I'm just editing a couple things right there. And no, I'm gonna take that. I'll leave that be at discretion whoever picks this up. No, I don't take IOUs. So I'm gonna leave that at 47. Default event laps is gonna be. I'm gonna put this at 220, about 225, because I don't know how long one lap is really. So you can fine tune this as you go along, but I try to make it so that's about 2.5 hours. And north angle I usually set at 0 because that affects what direction the sky is rotated at, and that affects some other things related to cameras as well, which I thought I was going to get into today, but I don't think I will. I'm kind of not feeling it today, to be honest with you. Not really any reason. Number of turns, you know, that's something that just reports in game. How many turns do we have, or how many would I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, actually 10's right. Okay. At least that's good enough for me. So, now we did all that wonderful garbage. I did all that just so that we don't have to go back and fix it later. Let's go have some fun. Now, of course, I'd have to reboot the game for like the race distance thing to show up, but what's missing from this track, Tristan? I think I've only done that like once. I've only done an off-camber corner once, and that was on Inferno Pool, and deal with it, honestly. That's one thing that annoys me is when people complain about the off-camber corner in Inferno Pool. Like, LTFD, sorry. I know there's like a bunch of textures that are like a little goofy. I'll fix those a little later. But now, as you see here, we have cars running. That's not quite what the last turn here at this track is. But it's similar. Okay, so these cameras are from the Nürburgring, as I mentioned in like the first part of this, and that's because when we eventually do cameras, which will probably be next time, that'll be a much smoother process, and it has everything to do with the spectator camera. So, and you know, we got AI running on it. Sorta, yeah. Tula, I need to almost, not quite rebuild it from the ground up, but Tula needs a rework. That track is kind of broken in some areas. Like the LPs on Tula suck ass. I did them kind of in a hurry because we had a league race like pretty close to when I dropped it, and I left some test ones in, and I never redid them. The race line is fine. And there's also like an edit of Tula I wanted to do where like that really dumb horseshoe was taken out. And I think parts of Tula are way too damn wide. Like way too wide. So you see here we have cars running. It's working. I'm just gonna skip through this, accelerate. Oops, I missed a start. Whatever, who cares? They're all probably gonna wreck anyway. Because I think this is for the. Actually, no, they made it. I thought they were. Oh yeah, they're wrecking. Yeah. I don't know if yellow's out because I didn't put any. I could have looked at the ambulance or whatever. 96 is killed. I have a feeling this car, like, oh no, that's because, you know, IROC damage model. Oh, that's not supposed to be there. Okay, whatever. Well, ARC brakes are still part of the equation. Okay, well, okay, they wrecked on the opening lap here. But that's nothing a little yeah, okay, I didn't set that to. I thought I set that to 21. I didn't. Yeah, track records, yeah, I'm not really worried about those at the moment. And just kind of basically doing some basic things to make sure that everything here worked. Okay. Oh wait, I should probably go back in and yeah, I should probably go back in and check something. Yeah, okay, race length. Okay, so today what we got going is we set our pit lane entry and exit points. And we have something where the AI can run around. Is it perfect? No, far from it. This track is far from perfect here, but is what we have, workable for if someone wanted to pick it up from here. I think other than by and large, I think from here on out, someone could probably pick this track up from the state it's at and probably keep working on until completion. You see our flag guy. I think you could have seen him off to the left. But yeah. There's some minor texture fixes that I think I need to do. I could see a couple of them off to the left side. It was on the pit wall. Perfect for ARCA and ASCC. No, ASCC doesn't know how to turn right because that's for commies. And oh, there goes the 84. Oh man, that's flipping over. That thing did a. Oh, it's the hamburger car. Yeah. I wonder if that place is still open actually. Because that was downtown. Whoops. Yeah, there he goes. Side over side barrel roll. Got pinched by a guy. He's trying to squeeze off the SRB car right. And then there's the cancer stick car. Got plowed by the shitty gas station car. Went rolling for a while. Oh yeah. Yeah, but first you got to make your setups not terrible. The fuck are those springs, mate? Yeah, so like the LPs here could be fixed. This could probably be a little wider as well. But hey, it's all part of the process. But the track works. It's not perfect, but everything looks like it's working so far. Yeah, either way, I think that's about where we'll end tonight off, I think. Just because I'm not really feeling it to do the cameras right now. I probably will do one more part to this where I fix the cameras, and I'll upload this track again to the description of the stream when I make it an actual video again. And I'll probably have a couple of the texture things, like a couple of the wacky wall textures fixed on the front straight. But yeah, thank y'all for showing up, and